class, template engine, and a template name. Currently, we're only using the template name because everything else is automatically done for us or handled for us. And what I like to call it, because it's sort of magic, it's auto-magically handled for us. And then we have these methods, and we have asView, which we've actually used, believe it or not, in our urls.py, homepage.asView. And we can see what asView is doing. And it's doing all of this stuff automatically for us, so we don't have to write that. Dispatch is like our init method, almost. It runs basically right after init. More or less, that's true. And we have one in here called getContextData. And I just happen to know that context is what we call it. And that's because I've read through the Django docs a few times, and so I'm sort of familiar with that notion. If you haven't read through the Django docs, definitely spend a little bit of time and read through the Django docs whenever you have an extra 5 or 10 minutes. There's a lot of docs, so it's going to take you a long time. It's not something you can read in an hour. And the docs are pretty well written. So getContextData is doing this. It takes self and keyword args, which is getContextData, self, keyword args. It's going to do quargs that set default view is equal to the self. If self.extraContent is not none, do some other stuff. Otherwise, return the keyword args. And we basically said, yep, cool. Whatever Django's doing, let's do the same thing. So we grabbed our context by using super.getContextData, passed in those same quargs that are being passed into us, added a little bit of context, and returned the entire thing. So in the future, when you're learning, a little more advanced Django, you can always go to ccbv and just waiting for this to load. There's all sorts of stuff in here. So feel free to take a little browse through this. But for the most part, we're just going to stick with something basic for now as to not overwhelm you. In future lessons, you might even see me reference ccbv, just because honestly, it is a great resource to have, and it tells us things like when we're using getContextData, does it accept a request? Does it accept args? Does it accept only self and quargs? What does it accept? We don't know, and we might need to know that when we use super. And so this is a really good reference for that. In the next lesson, let's go ahead and display our posts on our home page.